Hi everyone, Cranberry Alarm, Ri3D here. Today we got a little bit of a scoring demo for you guys. We ended up getting our end effector on with both of our scoring mechanisms with our elevator onto our chassis, so we can just move the robot by hand and kind of show off some of the scoring opportunities we have with both the processor, the Reef, and all of the scoring opportunities there. Let's take a look. So to get us started, I'll give a little bit of a background on the end effector and kind of the thought process behind this. We are missing still a second part of the robot, which is going to be our hopper, which is going to be our intake. But I guess to state a little bit more on the end effector, that the end effector right here will accept the coral from the hopper. And from there, we can kind of show you that this is all one unit. So this, our algae mechanism right here, that de-algifies the reef and also can score in the processor, is entirely connected to our elevator, and this can move entirely up and down as needed, as long as the coral's not in the way. So with that said, let's go ahead and take a look over at the reef and see how the elevator looks right there.
Yeah, so diving into some of the positions we have, this is our starting default position. We rest here, the elevator's all the way down, our robot's sitting at 42 inches tall. The hopper is going to feed directly into this position, and then we found that at this height, if you're spinning one set of wheels on like the left faster than the right, it sort of pitches the coral and turns into the trough there. We've shown a lot of testing with that, and we found it to be very consistent. But this is a nice starting configuration for us to have, and it keeps our center of mass low to the ground. Starting to move up. Going to sort of center the robot so you can see a little bit better. We are going to hang the coral out of our robot a good 2 inches. And so we think that this is going to be advantageous because it lets the driver see firsthand like exactly where the coral is going to go. The further away you are, the more guesswork there is, where the coral's pointing, how that's going to work from, well, the driver's station isn't super close to this tiny scoring element. So here we're at L4. And our elevator right now is a good 2 inches below max height, so just push it all the way up, Reese. And we have way more than enough height on this elevator. We've already talked a little bit about our manufacturing goof giving us an extra inch of extension. But as you can see, a max height robot, 42 inches, standard two-stage elevator, no real modifications, reaching L4. If you're careful about where you store your game piece, is no problem.
Yeah, and currently our height from the carpet right now is sitting at 42 3/8. So we're 3/8 over starting config, but seeing how much extra room we had, we dropped that in ½ an inch. We know we'd be inside, and due to our time limitation, we decided to focus our efforts on something else. But we knew that if we were a real team inside build season, we'd be able to make that change. So yeah, so now let's go and move over to algae and see how that looks. So go and reposition the robot to be centered. There we go. So when we go to score, what we're going to do is we're going to drive the elevator up, and that will allow us to then turn this out right here to then be able to pop the algae out, and then we would then be able to grab it like this, drive away, and then potentially rotate in if we wanted, or just keep holding it here. We will then be driving around the field with it like this, so we will be prone to being hit by defenders. But this will at least allow us to go then straight over to the processor, which we'll go and highlight later, but we'll kind of show a little bit more geometry that we have with the de-algifier. So if we go and put that back in, we can kind of see that we have a really nice, we can just turn this wrist up like this, which allows us to just drive into it like this, and then we can drive the rollers backwards to then pop this out. And that may come into our elevator, but then that will at least allow us to then drive away in some fashion to then just descore it like that if we need something quick.
With how the reef pegs are located, L4 in this upper algae, if you're able to reach L4 and your algae mechanism is sitting below your coral mechanism, it's going to be very easy for you to reach this upper algae without needing more extension from the elevator.
So yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look now. That kind of shows how we get it from the reef, and let's go and show kind of our geometry over here with the processor. So looking over here at the processor, we'll go and put the algae in the orientation of the robot like it comes straight out of from our de-algifying in our basic orientation. So we go and intake a little bit. We can't really hold it, do it too representatively, but we can at least show it a little bit. And then from there, we'll drive in, and then we would outtake and score that. And another configuration, if there's algae on the ground, what we can do is we can actually actuate out to here, which will then allow us to use this like a normal ground intake to then pull the game piece up and in to this point here, and then we can drive around and drive into the processor. We can either drive, I don't know how far we can go into what the ruling is on that, but we can at least be at this point here, and with a little bit of give in our arm, it can just roll right in just like that, and we can stow right back down. So we kind of realized that this mechanism really does offer a lot of flexibility for handling all the algae. It's not the perfect one for a ground intake considering how narrow it is, but it does give us a lot of options and does handle the de-algifying really well. So we're really looking forward to that. So with this end effector being so versatile, it also has come with a large baggage of weight. This entire end effector right here weighs about 22 pounds, which is definitely on the heavy side. So one big question we've been getting a lot, and one question we've really had is kind of how that impacts the center of gravity of the elevator, of the entire robot when the elevator is all the way up. So we're going to put together a little demo kind of showing the tippiness of the robot, and there's still more to be added to this, more on the superstructure of the robot. But yeah, let's go and do a quick demo. We're going to start off by just kicking the front end of the robot, and this is going to simulate the robot driving backwards really quickly. So that was a pretty hard kick. We'll do a little bit of a gentler one, kind of show that. All right, and then we'll go and do one where we kind of get the robot has some momentum, and then we go ahead and stop that momentum. To go a couple more times. Come on, Corey, put some all into it. So there was really, I did stop that one there, so there was a chance that that one could have gone. But really with this game, there's no real reason to be driving with your elevator all the way up. I understand when you're coming here, maybe there's a little bit of a reason, but you should be driving at a relatively slow speed with the elevator up. And the way we're kind of going to handle that is just in the code when the elevator's up, slow down the robot and just only really raise the elevator when we're getting near the reef. So we feel pretty good about the current center of gravity of the robot and how it kind of handles the real height. And that about does it. Please be sure to check out more Cranberry Alarm Ri3D videos on Fun Robotics Network.